Hi everybody, it's Yvonne. I'm here today to go over the 7 baby steps. This is inspired by Dave Ramsey, and which is the philosophy that I'm following this year for my debt-free journey. I'm currently in $81,034.37 worth of debt starting off of this year. I am looking to pay off my collections debt. I'm looking down because I'm looking at my notes. I'm going to go through each step. My collection debt is a total of $4,584.08. So I'm looking to pay that off by the end of this year using the baby steps. And I'm going to go into each step. I'm going to let you know what step I'm currently on. And I'm also going to go through each specific step. Just to give you a little background, I do have, like I said, I have $4,584.08 in collections. My student loan debt is $75,361.42, and I also owe the IRS $1,088.87. Now, I just made a lot of mistakes when I was younger. I also made a lot of mistakes as I'm older. Which is no secret. Most of us make those mistakes. We have a lot of spending habits. Most of my collection debts, however, is medical bills. I was out of work for 3 years due to a medical condition. I have bipolar, anxiety, and severe depression, so I was in and out of the hospital. I also had some physical ailments that went on. I had to have a couple of surgeries, and so there were follow-up doctor bills, things like that, and insurance didn't cover a lot of it, so I had those medical bills, and by me being out of work, I wasn't able to pay for those co-pays and co-insurances and things like that of that nature, so hence my reason for them going into collections. It is what it is. Now, before we start, if you're new to my channel and you want to follow this journey with me, or if you're going through your own journey and would like to join my community and just be each other's backbone and inspiration, motivation, and back up, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that notification bell so you'll get notified whenever we get any whenever I put up any new videos. I do try to do videos on Thursdays and Sundays. Even though today is Friday, I'm a little late. I just had a lot going on this week at work, so I wasn't able to put up a video yesterday, but my normal days are Thursdays and Sundays. Also, leave a comment or a question. If you have any questions following this video, don't hesitate to leave a comment and question. I do try to respond within 24 to 48 hours to your questions or comments. Also, go ahead and leave your YouTube channel below as well. I would love to follow you and be an inspiration and a motivation and a backup girl to your journey as well. So let's build this community, y'all. Now let's get into this video. So as I stated, I'm going over the 7 baby steps. There's actually 8 baby steps, but the first one most people don't talk about, which is baby step 0. Baby step 0 I did in December. That's where you get all of your bills up to date. So excuse me. That's basically where you get all of your bills up to date. So you want to get your 4 walls, your current bills, all of them current. So you're going to make sure you're not behind on your rent or mortgage. You want to make sure you're not behind on your utility bills, your current active credit card bills, or student loan bills, or whatever you're currently paying on. You want to make sure all of those bills are up to date. Once you do that, then you can move on into what's called baby step 1. Baby step 1 is to accumulate $1,000 as soon as possible. Dave Ramsey does state that you should try to do that within 30 days. In my situation, my financial situation, I'm not going to be able to do that in 30 days. That's just something that I'm not going to be able to do. However, I did give myself until May. My personal suggestion is to give yourself a realistic goal date. Look at your situation, look at the things that you're able to not only physically but mentally capable of handling, and to set a goal date in order for you to achieve each of these baby steps. Because if you don't give yourself a goal date, you'll find yourself continuously putting it off and saying, oh, I'll save next week, or I'll pay off that next week, or I'll catch it up next week. Or if you do save, you'll find yourself going into the savings and saying, oh, I'll just put that back. But if you have an actual goal date saying that, okay, I want to hit this by this particular date, then you're more than likely going to strive for it a little harder. You'll be more what they call gazelle intent, and more likely to stick to it. So give yourself an actual realistic goal date. I know the ideal is to do it in 30 days. I would love to do it in 30 days. If I am able to do it in 30 days, that's great. I would definitely try to do it in 30 days. However, my realistic goal is that I'm able to save $200 a month. That's my reality. So based upon what I actually make and what I have that I have to pay, ooh, excuse me, based upon what I make, my income, and based upon what my bills are, based upon my life, what I have going on in my life. I have a daughter that's a senior. I have a son that's a junior. Both of my children are active in different things. My daughter has senior activities coming up. She's preparing to go to college. My son is in a band, so he has different things and activities that he does. So all of those things cost money. So I have to consider not only the bills that I have. I don't only have to consider the fact that I'm trying to save up these $1,000. I also have to consider not only my household expenses, but I also have to consider my children and their lifestyle as well as mine. So during this journey, there's a lot of things that you have to take into you have to take into, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word right now, but there's a lot of things that you have to look at before you sit down and make your goals. Before you sit down and actually sit down and think about doing this, before you, well, not before, but when you sit down and you set your mind to doing these, during this journey, there's going to be a lot of things that you have to put into perspective, and in order to make it realistic, so that you don't fall to the wayside and give up and get frustrated, things like that. So for me, in order for me to save $1,000, realistically, I decided it's going to take me 5 months to do it. That's the reality of my situation. Can I do it faster than that? Hopefully, yes. But I gave myself until May 31st. That's just what I'm going to give myself. If it so happens that I do it faster than that, then that'll be wonderful. You know, I'm not going to just say, oh, I have until May 31st, so I'll just stay on that track. If there are some things that come up that I'm able to save more, I'll save more. If I do have a side hustle, I sell paparazzi accessories, so I had to take a 2-month break off of that due to my mental issue. I had to take a mental health time. So I did take 2 months off. I'm just now getting back into it slowly. I'm getting back into it. So with that, that's going to be money that I'm going to be putting toward that $1,000 goal as well. So I should be able to do it before the 5 months. So, but I did base all of my goals off of just my employment income, not also off of my side hustle. So the first step, as I stated, is to save $1,000 as quickly as possible. You could do it however you see fit to do it. Just make it realistic to your living situation. Step number 2, once you save the $1,000, you have that saving. Now, another thing, where do you want to put this money? You have to put it somewhere where you could get to it if needed fast, but you don't want to put it somewhere where you're going to be tempted to use it. I have it in a savings account at my bank. However, it's not linked to my checking account, so I can't use my debit card to get it out. I have to actually go to my bank. My bank, I only have one branch in my city, and it's about 30 to 40 minutes away from me. So I'm not going to be going to the bank. So you have to you have to know your personality, and you have to know, I'm not a saver by nature. I'm a spender. So I know that. So I know that if I have money there, I'm going to find a way to spend it. I'm going to find a reason to spend it. So I put it in a situation where it's not as easy to access it. Therefore, I'm not going to be able to get it and spend it. But it's easily, I have it transferred directly into my savings account from my paycheck every pay period, so I don't have to worry about actually physically taking the money and putting it in the account, because once it hits my hand, more than likely I'm going to spend it. So it's automatically taken out my payroll check, sent to that account. I don't see it. It's just gone. That's how I do it. So that's something else you have to you have to think about as well when you talk about how you're going to save the emergency fund. Now, this is a starting emergency fund. It's not a full emergency fund. This is just a quick $1,000 that you'll have in case you need new tires, in case you need to get an oil change, in case something happens and you just need a quick, like if you need, like say something happens on your car and you have to use your car insurance. Most car insurance deductibles is between $500 and $1,000. So at least you'll have that there, and that's not something you have to worry about coming up with. You'll have it there, it's saved, and you don't have to worry about where the money's going to come from. So it's called a starting emergency fund. Once you accumulate that $1,000, you're going to stop saving, and you're going to go into baby step number 2, which is called the debt snowball. The debt snowball is probably the longest step that you'll be on. It's probably going to be the most mentally draining step. It's probably going to be the hardest step, and it's probably going to be the most rewarding step. This is where you get out of your debt. What you're going to do is you're going to take all the debt that you have except for your home mortgage, if you have one. You're going to take all of your consumer debt, and you're going to list it from the smallest debt to the largest debt. Then you're going to start paying off your debt from the smallest to the largest. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to pay the first debt only and leave all the other debt behind. No. What you're going to do is you're going to continue to pay your monthly payments on each of your debts. However, whatever extra money you have in your budget for the month, you're going to take that and you're going to throw it towards that first debt. Once that debt is paid off, you're going to take whatever money you're putting into that first debt and put it into that second debt. And you're going to continue to do that process until you pay off all of your consumer debt. Now, the mentality behind that is, the philosophy rather, behind that is, if you pay off the smaller debts first, you get the adrenaline or the excitement built up from the small wins. That way, when you get to the bigger debts, then you're so pumped up with the smaller victories that you're more inclined to stay in the fight. You're more inclined to be able to continue with the process versus taking out the bigger debts first, where it's taking you longer to get a victory. It's taking you longer, so you're getting frustrated easier, you're getting frustrated quicker, and you're more willing to give up, if you understand what I'm saying with that. Now, my situation is a little different. All of my debt is in collections. I have no quote-unquote active debt. The only thing that's not in collections is my student loans. However, my student loans is what's called income-based repayment, where they base your repayment amount off of what your current income is, and based upon my income, I don't have to pay them anything. So my student loans are currently in good standing. However, I have a $0 payment every month. So I currently have no active debt. So what do? I do it the same way. I take my debt that's in collections, I put it in from smallest to largest. However, what I'm going to do, instead of making small payments on each one of those debts, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a chunk of money. I'm going to call the first collector. I'm going to say, hey, I have this amount of money. I can pay you now, and we get this settled, and you clean this off my credit and settle the debt. And then I move on to the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. But I'm still going in the same process of doing the smallest to the largest, so I'll still get that same win, the same adrenaline. Now, if I have small debts that's like under $300, Dave Ramsey says go ahead and pay them off versus settling. If they're over $300, do a settlement. So, I'll have to go over my debt again to really sit down and look into that to see how that's going to affect my payments. But that's how you would handle the collections if your debts are in collections, because you don't really find a lot of videos that go over whether when your account is in collections. You mostly hear them talk about just regular active consumer debt. So that's how you would handle your debt if your debt is in collections. Once you get through the process of this debt snowball, you go into what's called baby step number 3. Baby step number 3 is where you get into your actual saving. You'll get a full emergency fund. So you already have $1,000 saved. So from the step 1. So what you'll do is you'll add on to that $1,000, and you'll save a full emergency fund, which is anything from 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses. Now, to determine whether or not you're going to do 3 to 6 months, it really depends on your situation. So if you're a single income household, then it's suggested that you do 6 months. Because if you're the only income in the household and something were to happen and you were to lose that income, then it would make more sense that you would have more income available to you than if you have a double income in the household where you have a supplement. So if you have a 2 income, then you could do the 3 month and you'll still be safe because you have that second income to kind of hold you over until you find another job or whatever you're doing in the meantime where you could replace your own income. So that would be your situation. Me personally, I just put a dollar amount on how much I want to save. I did not actually sit down and calculate what my 3 months would be or 6 months would be. I just gave myself a dollar amount, and once I get to baby step 3, then I'll give myself a goal date and say, okay, I want to save this by this date. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'll do when I get to step number 2 as well. Once I finish step number 1, when I get to step number 2, I'll give myself a goal date. Along with step number 3, that's what I'll do as well. Once you get your fully funded emergency fund, then there's actually another step within step number 3, which is step number 3B. This does not apply to everyone, but if you do not have a home yet, then what you would do is you would save 25% down payment to purchase a home. Now, 25% of a down payment to purchase a home is a lot of money. However, the mentality behind that is that's less of a home that you have to pay off, because you want to get into the situation where you will pay your home off quickly. So the less you have to pay off, the quicker you pay it off. Also, the more you put down, the less your monthly payments will be, because that's the less principal, which is less interest. So there's a couple of reasons behind the 25% versus the 3% or the 5%, which is the the actual average of what a person has to put down on their home. So you once you finish step 3, you'll do step 3B, and then you move on to step 4, which is the investment process. I'm doing that one a little different. You would invest 15% of your income, your total household income. So if you're a two income home, you would invest 15% of both incomes into retirement. So that's 401ks, Roth IRAs, 403bs, any type of retirement investments. Then you will go ahead and take 15% of your entire household income and you will put that into that area. I'm actually saving for retirement now. For one, due to my age, I'm closer to retirement than I think I am. Realistically, I'm not that far off from retirement. Two, I don't have any money saved for retirement. So, me knowing that, I actually opened a Roth IRA already, and I already have money coming out. It's not 50. It does not equal 15%. However, I do have some money going out toward retirement. Once I get to step 4, then I'll bring it up to the full 15%. Step number 5 is to fund your children's college fund. That step would not apply to me. As I stated, my daughter's a senior this year, so she'll already be out of college probably by the time I get to that step. My son as well, he's a junior, so he'll be going to college in another year or two, if that's his choice. So step number 5 will not apply for me. However, if you do have smaller children or if you plan on having children in the future, then step number 5 would apply for you. What you would do is you would save for your child's college fund by opening, I think it's called a 503B, or they have state funded college funds, or you could just save it in a some type of money market account or something like that. Any type of account that will cause your money to grow, where you're getting a return on the money, and it's going to be earmarked just for your child's college fund in the future. Because we all know colleges raise their tuition and everything every year, so it's going to cost more. But you want to go ahead and at least have something saved up for the college fund. Had I known back then what I know now, I would have started saving for my kids' college fund when they were born. I personally never thought about college funds because I felt like it's a lot of free money out there, scholarships, grants, things like that. I still believe in that, but I understand now. Once you finish step number 5, then you want to go into step number 6, which is to pay off your home. Now, if you notice, step number 6 is not that far off from step 3B. So you want to go ahead and you want to take everything outside of your 15% retirement. Now, at this point in time, remember, you have no consumer debt. You're saving 15% of your income. You're investing it in retirement. So if you really, really think about it, that's 85% of your income that you could take and pay off your home. Yep. Let's say you have 100% income, right? You're at 100% of income. And you're taking 15%, putting that into retirement, right? That leaves you with 85% to go toward other things. Now you have, household expenses. So let's say that's another 30%, right? So 30% out of 85%, that leaves you with 55%. You have 55% of your income that you can take and put toward paying off your home. If you really want to go gazelle intense on this, and you're not thinking that you want to live in the now, you're thinking more about how you want to live later or what you want to do later. You can still budget and do things that you want to do now, but you want to think about how you want to. How can I say it? How you want to just be able to live your life versus struggling for the rest of your life. because paying a mortgage is a huge chunk of most people's money. So just think about that. So you want to pay off your home in baby step 6. Once you pay off your home, baby step 7 is pretty simple. You want to stack your money, build wealth. You want to give away money, which is charity, pretty much. And you want to live your life. That's all you're doing, baby step 7. Travel. All of the things that you sacrificed in baby step 1 through 6, you want to go ahead and do in baby step 7. That's it. And those are your baby steps. So if you have any questions, you need any further explanations, go ahead and leave your questions and comments below. If you have a YouTube channel, I would love to subscribe to your channel. Go ahead and leave that below as well. Hit that subscribe button below so you can follow me on this journey that I'm on. Go ahead and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video on Thursdays and Sundays. Thank you so much for joining me on this video, and stay blessed.